Heard is coming up next. Doug Gottlieb is in for Colin today. Hey, Doug, what's on the show today?
Hey, guys, we're going to be talking about LeBron. Who else? Because I don't know if you guys are aware, but the LeBron James era actually starts right now. Or maybe at the top of the hour, we'll explain why it starts right now.
All right. Thank you, Doug. Time for our final topic of the day. There were some very big trades in the Eastern Conference this week. The Sixers added Tobias Harris. The Raptors got Marc Gasol. And the Bucks traded for Nikola Mirotic. And right now, Philly, Boston, Toronto, and Milwaukee all have the same odds to make the finals. So, Shannon, would you like to win the East?
Man, they loaded up. And like LeBron said, they loaded up because I ain't there.
Yeah, the whole East.
Yeah, that's what he did, Skip. Because when he left, now all these squatters come into LeBron home, which he lauded over the East. I like the Sixers because I think now Tobias Harris is as good as it gets. He's a 47% catch and shoot on the three. That's second behind Buddy Hield. That's ahead of Steph and Clay. I like him. Joel Embiid is a monster. I believe he's the best player in the East, in my opinion. Ben Simmons, and you still have Jimmy Buckets, who's a perennial all-star. They didn't make it this year. So I'm going to go them. But, man, Toronto, Gasol is a substantial upgrade over Valanciunas.
He's really good. He really knows how to play.
Do they have enough shooting, though?
I don't know. I have loved the Sixers, but do you realize they just completely revamped their whole roster on the fly, which I give Elton Brand high props for, but can they figure it all out in 27 games before the playoffs start? I'm not sure. I'm a Mirotic fan, and that was a really big, nice piece to add to the Bucks, who currently have the best record in basketball. So I think it's time for the Greek Freak to prove he's that guy, because they're loaded too, man.
This looked like to me, by trading Mirotic, the Pelicans about to go in tank mode.
Oh, really?
Why you trade Mirotic?
Well, but now Anthony's going to play the rest of the year.
we're gonna let him play the rest of the year.
Okay. Well,
really?
That'll be interesting how that works.
Bron, you see what they do, Skip?
That is it for us. And we had LeVar Ball on the show yesterday, and of course his son Lonzo was a big topic. Well, Lonzo is still a Laker after trade talks to bring Anthony Davis to LA fell through. Lonzo sent a clear message on Instagram yesterday by posting a clip with the P. Diddy song Bad Boy for Life playing, and that song, of course, has the not so subtle lyrics, we ain't going nowhere. So, Shannon, what happens to Lonzo now?
I think he finishes the season out with the Lakers, Skip, but I think there's a greater chance that he's on another team at the start of next season.
I agree.
Than him being a Laker.
Yep.
For me, and I think at some point in time, LeVar, and like I told him yesterday, I know you can say what you want to, but just because you can, my girl used to say, boy, just because you can say something doesn't mean you should, or doesn't make what you're saying right. And I think Rob Pelinka and Magic at some point in time said, you know what, this is more of a headache than what it's worth.
Yep.
And I just think we can move in a different direction and let someone else deal with it. I think Lonzo can be a good player. I don't see star. I don't see superstar. You do, and some other people do. I mean, a lot of the players that played this game said, yeah, I think he can be a superstar. I don't see that. But the question is that potential worth the headaches that comes along with his father in the offseason? And, I mean, during his career on your roster, having him say the things that he says about a coach. And that's my thing. Skip, you and I, that's one thing. Talking about a coach or criticizing or critiquing a player's play. But when your son is a current player and he's on said team that you're openly and blatantly criticizing, that makes it difficult. I don't care what he says. It makes it tough on his son because they're looking at his son's side eye. Like a lot of stuff that's going on in his locker room, for him to talk about it, it had to come from somebody in this locker room. And I ain't talking to your dad like that, but you are.
Every time we have LeVar on, I enjoy listening to him, and then I walk away, and I don't love a lot of the things he said for Lonzo's sake.
Right.
He dug in, did LeVar, yesterday on this show, and he made some powerful statements. He basically said, it's Luke or my son. Somebody's got to go.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
He drew a deep line in that beach sand here in Santa Monica, right?
Yep.
He just said, one or the other has got to go sooner than later.
Right.
And he also went so far as to say, Magic, I asked him, I said, was Magic intervened? Well, Magic, he said, I'm paraphrasing, but he's basically just a figurehead now without a lot of authority.
Right.
Really? Without a lot of control? That's shocking to me.
I'm shocked too.
Okay? Now, LeVar, a lot of things he says that do not concern his son have truth in them.
Right.
Because he's very perceptive. He sees it, knows
Right.
it, and has the guts to sometimes speak it.
Right.
When he goes off and says, Lonzo's better than LeBron, I just throw up my hands because that's just that's self-promotional clickbait headline.
But Skip, that's the problem that I have is that he makes some good points at times.
Yep.
But when he says something so outlandish, it almost makes you want to disqualify everything else he said.
Okay, I agree. But yet, yesterday afternoon, I kind of half waited for Lonzo to issue a statement. My father does not speak for me. Has he ever done that one time?
No.
About his father? No. He doesn't. So we all have to assume that LeVar came in here yesterday and spoke for Lonzo. You don't think he's spoken to Lonzo about Luke?
Of course.
So now we're pretty sure that Lonzo's got no use for Luke. And again, I have defended Lonzo and LeVar on this count because I don't like the way Luke has handled Lonzo.
Right.
I don't like the quick exits, the quick hook.
Right.
4 minutes of the first quarter. So you just sort of gave him a token start, and then you yank him and sit him for a quarter. I don't like it.
Right.
And I could see where it hurt his confidence and his trust. And so do I think maybe Lonzo needs to see if he can find greener pastures and flourish elsewhere? Well, my only fear is that the only guy who can coach Lonzo was sitting right here.
Right.
Because he coached him all the way up the ladder, right?
I tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, it doesn't matter. Free throw percentage doesn't matter. Yes, it does.
It does.
Three-point percentage matter if you're going to take them.
Yeah, LeVar said, I could fix that in a second. And he's talking about fix it psychologically by what he would tell him. Like, you're going to make these.
But think about it, Skip.
Okay, well, LeVar's not on the Laker bench, right?
But wouldn't you want to tell him? I mean, your son is shooting 40-something% from the free throw line. Wouldn't you want to fix it now?
I would think so.
I
keep telling you, you can't exist in this league at point guard if you're shooting under 50% free throws. You just can't do it.
Yes.
Come on.
I don't get it. And even if that's the case, I don't know if I'm ever going to say something like that. If my son's, having been, obviously my mom had two sons playing and she knows she was not allowed to critique or speak anything. My sister, we never worried about my sister, but for me, Skip, even if my son has a problem with the coach, I'm not going publicly with that. My son's still on that roster. Now, maybe if he steps, the coach gets fired, or my son goes to another team, my daughter, whatever. Okay, then there were some issues that my son had with the coach. That it was best that both ended up parting ways. But to say that, and that's what I said, Skip. Your son's still on this roster for at least this summer. Now what?
So he's due back in about 4 to 6 weeks, so later in February from his ankle injury. Now, how do he and Luke coexist? How do you do this?
Yeah.
How do you function together? Really?
And like I said, look, you can be on a team, Skip, that doesn't win and not be a loser. And as I told his dad, I say losing is a mindset. You keep telling me your son has this steel trap mind, and Luke told him don't worry about scoring or don't worry about this. But if his mind is where it's supposed to be and as strong as you say it is, why does what Luke say affect him? Something ain't adding up.
I know. And I kept wondering, why would you want your son in Phoenix? It's the worst team in the toughest conference. He says yesterday, I want to start a ball dynasty with the worst team. I want my other two sons there also.
That's not going to happen.
Well, it's just great. He's trying to speak that into existence.
But look, I don't care what he tried to say. He spoke into existence. If Lonzo Ball could not play, if he was an NBA talent caliber, Lonzo Ball, no matter how much he spoke about it, do you know how many people have prayed that their child go to college or go to the next level or do something, Skip, that it didn't come because they didn't have the ability?
I know.
See, he lose sight of that. It's the ability.
I just hope he doesn't speak his sons out of existence.
It's exactly what I was going to say, because I've gone back and forth on him, but you don't want him to say too much where it's going to hurt him, and you don't want him to regret it. Because he loves his son.
You don't want him to say too much. He ain't said enough yet.
He just might regret. I don't know. You don't want him to think I maybe shouldn't have said some of those comments. But it was interesting to have him. That was my first time meeting him.
Even if he does, he'll never admit it.
All right, guys, the trade deadline has passed. So who is the team to beat in the East? We'll discuss all that next.